All right, what's up? Welcome everybody to a nice late night, balmy Sunday evening where it's 8 degrees outside, and I'm going to do the show from now on as a very soft NPR style gay radio show. We have officially transitioned to a soft voice gay radio show. I hope you're feeling the rainbow love tonight. I'll be your guide as we traverse the fake and gray space universe out there. And if you're looking for a little bit of light love listening tonight, I'm going to play a little bit of RuPaul for you. Tonight's opening track is Cover Girl by RuPaul. Y'all like the new show, the new format? If I talk like that, what if I talk like that? What if I did the entire show in this style? Would you guys like this show better? Jay's Analysis podcast is made possible by a grant from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Right? Y'all feel me on that? Okay, that's what people do. That's not what I do, people, okay? We went from NPR to Crad Williams. Anyway, let's talk about Klaus, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good bugs and the bad bugs. Let's talk about Klaus. Let's talk about Klaus, baby. Let's talk about bugs for me. Let's talk about all the insects and the skeeters as we dance in wife beaters. I'm in a goofy mood. Why am I coughing? Well, I don't think I'm coughing because I have any of the Vaticoof anymore. I was over at my brother's house, and I was around his dogs. And dogs aggravate my allergies. I don't know what to say. Cats aggravate my allergies to the next level. But even dogs trigger me, baby. I don't know what it is. So my eyes are burning, and I keep coughing. So I'm gonna do my best. So I got cough drops. Somebody complained about, why does he cough all the time? I don't cough all the time. I got Vaticoof. I'm sorry. What do you want? Where is everybody tonight? Like and share, dog. Have I tried dropping coffee? You mean like in an IV? Like heroin, but with coffee? I'm gonna heroin my coffee up. That's gross, dude. We're going to talk about Klaus. We're going to talk about the WEF. They just met. Today was the last, or yesterday was the last day of meetings, whenever it was. Yes, please tell me about tea and honey. I've never heard of that in my entire life. Don't even know what tea is. What's honey? I've been sick. Yeah, I've been sick for 200 years. And we're going to get into these clips. As you know, I've pointed out the Camus profile on Twitter is probably one of the best clipping channels on Twitter when it comes to collections of classics from Klaus, Noah Yuval Harari, Davos, all that. He's always got the best clips. So we'll start it off with, a few days ago, Fabian Socialists. Fabian Socialist, what? Where have we heard of that? Yes, Fabian Socialist Tony Blair was at Davos talking it up, yapping it up with all the same old stuff. Again, demonstrating that the modus operandi seems to be Fabian socialism, which is socialism aligned with monopoly capitalism, as you guys know. Here's one key example of it.
Tony Blair, and he really tends to express the ethos of Davos. We do have, however, a couple supposed counter-narrative people this year at Davos who showed up. The Heritage Foundation person and Javier Milei. Now, we'll play a little bit of that here in a little bit. We'll get to those more popular clips. We also had a damn witches blessing prayer ceremony at Davos of a shamanette, a weird woman, a weird white woman. They give you a weird white girl. They give you a light-skinned girl, a weird girl. They had them weird girls at Davos. Okay. Come on, that's all right, Cat Williams. So they were getting wild this year. And we're going to look a little bit, too, at the history of the World Economic Forum, because everybody forgets this, or they don't know this, or they're just now hearing about it. You know, it's crazy. I was looking, my Davos video that I first did a whole hour-long talk on it was 6 years ago. 6 years ago, nobody knew what Davos was. They'd never heard of it. People, at that time, if you talked about this kind of stuff, you were still like, whoa, super fringe. Doesn't even exist. Now it's crazy to see, I think, largely via X and the clips via X the past couple of years. It's crazy to see how many people now focus on and on a regular setting, right? They constantly upload Davos clips. And I think clipping things, small clips, that have been going viral for the last few years, that seems to have really been a key way to wake people up. So I think that was why this year Davos, one of their top things that was one of the top agendas was combating misinformation, by which they mean any dissenting narrative from the controlled circle narrative that you're allowed to speak within, the controlled domain of a false left-right. And false left-right, remember, that's not just political. That pertains to everything, right? So if there's a big event, right, a sensitive event, you're only allowed to speak about that event within a two possibilities paradigm, which keeps you from really understanding probably the overall picture. That's the magic circle, which is actually something that's discussed in high-level psychological warfare and social engineering. So let's talk about the history, though, of Davos, because this is a classic article. If you don't know, it's the Johnny Vedmore article that always gets cited. Well, by me, it's a great article. It fills in a lot of the blanks about missing pieces of history and timeline for especially studies into the OSS, CIA, right? All that kind of history with deep state, Kissinger, and so forth. This actually ties in a lot of key pieces of the puzzle in understanding that World Economic Forum / Davos is really an outworking of Kissinger-style projects, right? So this notes that the Young Global Leaders, which is the program Klaus refers to, right, when he talks about, we have penetrated the cabinets. The cabinets of the world have been penetrated by the organization. It's because many of them are young global leaders on board with the program. So not everybody necessarily that's been an attendee at Davos or even one of these programs is necessarily some, mind-controlled operative. People might leave this program. They might not get invited back to Davos, right? So, but these are usually signifiers of people who are with the plan, so to speak, right? And a lot of people, even with the plan at the government level, they're not a controller. They're a stooge. They're a tool. So a lot of times, even those level people have limited exposure to what's really going on, limited information. That's why it's people like Kissinger and Brzezinski who are real shot callers at that high level for the system. And with us, we see, Kissinger basically running things like Gladio. So what's the history, though, of the World Economic Forum? Well, it's a Young Global Leaders program Klaus, the supposed brainchild, is actually a replica of Kissinger's international seminar that was originally run out of Harvard, funded by the CIA. I think this even mentions it being called Harvard Research Project. That's also mentioned in other white papers and documents as kind of one of these key subversive institution or think tank groups, NGOs that has been involved in planning a lot of this. So the WEF's Young Global Leaders Initiative was responsible for seeding many of the really elite into positions of power and influence within the worlds of business, civil society, and politics. So it's not just political. You have to understand that, right? We're also talking about the corporate world. Fall of the USSR became a catalyst for the creation of a Global Leaders of Tomorrow program, which would then be the precursor to the Young Global Leaders of Davos. The supposed mastermind of the project, however, Klaus Schwab, was himself already helped into his position by a similar program run from Harvard that was funded by the CIA. The Harvard initiative in question is often referred to as Kissinger's International Seminar, one of several programs set up by senior members of the organization from the CFR and the newly created CIA. In fact, during the post-World War II era, the United States was proactively creating many such programs with the intent of grooming the future leaders into the positions of power. The main motive behind the establishment of these programs was ostensibly to combat and prevent communist infiltration. So this is under the guise of Cold War. We're going to prevent communism. Because remember, it's against actually Sovietism and the model that these entities have already begun to adopt, even at this point, are Fabian socialism, right? So that's why you see people like Tony Blair, right? Because that's the socialism that melds with mega capitalism to defeat Sovietism, to then produce the third way synthesis for the New World Order, basically. And so this article says that the institution here of the Young Global Leaders Program has actually always worked closely with the CIA to help the CIA, for example, infiltrate other governments and corporations outside of U.S. Control. 1967, it was Harvard's Humphrey Doorman who exposed that certain Harvard summer school courses and initiatives were actually funded by the CIA. Even though almost a decade of funding throughout the 1950s remained undeclared, it was revealed between 60 and 66, Kissinger's International Seminar received funding from 3 CIA conduits: Asia Foundation, Fairfield Foundation, American Friends of the Middle East. I think Asia Foundation is mentioned in Tragedy and Hope, if I remember. Those are CIA conduits. CIA funded the Harvard-based International Seminar and used to supply the forum with the necessary funds to run the program. This is used various conduits. And this mentions some of these other groups, NGOs that were set up. American Friends of the Middle East, CIA Front for Kermit Roosevelt. That was the overthrow of Mossadegh via the CIA. Let's see. OSS General Wild Bill Donovan in 1941 was replaced by the Office of Coordination of Information, with the precursor to the OSS, by Dean Acheson. We know about Kermit Roosevelt. We've covered Operation Ajax. I'm going to skip down past some of the CIA operation stuff to get to the Klaus part. So this is all Iranian coup. Young Global Leaders. Harvard School had been run for 75 years by the time Kissinger was finishing his studies. By the way, we covered Kissinger pretty extensively in the last couple of weeks. Gets into him being at Harvard eventually after his intelligence work time in the Army. Kissinger, if you remember, wanted to be in the FBI, but for whatever reason, he ended up being recruited way higher than that via David Rockefeller. Kissinger plays a big role in pretty much all of the Rockefeller operations, hence why Kissinger plays such a big part in the adoption of the Depop agenda. And if you guys want to support the show, you can do so via the Streamlabs Super Chats right here. Today is a very serious and soft and dry National Public Radio broadcast. And you can support Jay's analysis by the Streamlabs function there in the chat. That will open up another window for you to drop in a monetary donation. And so you can join the Annenberg Foundation and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for their super chat support of Jay's analysis. CIA money is what was described as the foreign seminar coming via CIA conduits, Kermit Roosevelt, American Friends of the Middle East, etc. It's all, yeah, we already knew that. We were talking about Kissinger, his role in this. This is all Cold War setting. Trying to get up to the Klaus part is what I'm looking for. In 1992, when the wall came down, take me to the magic of the moment and the night nights, the winds of change. The wall coming down, come on. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? That's a CIA song, do you know that? When the Berlin Wall fell, and the education of Schwab's specially selected global elite politicians for the future was about to begin during this time of political change, Klaus's WEF had become a powerful globalist entity, and Schwab was ready to begin following the model first established by Kissinger's CIA-funded seminars. As Herman Kahn, that's the neocon from Rand Corporation, and his Hudson Institute colleagues had mapped out in 1967, the Ancillary Plot Study for the Educational Policy Research Program Final Report. So this is basically saying that Rand is in the background as well. Herman Kahn is one of the key brains at the Rand Corporation. So Rand is then involved by extension. Training the comprehensive future leadership group outside of the national education framework was of highest priority. As previously reported, Kahn was yet another mentor to Klaus Schwab. So you've got two classic mega neocons, Kissinger and Herman Kahn, mentoring old Klaus himself. Now, that reminds me, too, that it was, according to Dr. Coleman, also Tavistock's techniques that were used to bring in a lot of the Fortune 100. So if you remember, a lot of Fortune 100, Fortune 500, maybe even CEOs were for many years taken to the big Harriman mansion. And the Harriman estate was for many years used as a big training base and location for CEOs. Training into what? Into Tavistock methodology. So quite literally, if you were going to be the CEO of Time Magazine or something like that, or Boeing or something like that, you would be taken to these high-level meetings, and you would be taken to estates, literally it's probably, let's just be honest, it's probably like Eyes Wide Shut type stuff, right? And then you're also taking these courses on the Tavistock techniques that Dr. Coleman mentions. Anyway, so that also is another type of this sort of, let's take the cream of the crop for being future CEOs and future politicians and put them into these various programs. CIA programs for corporate. It's all the same stuff. Remember, Esalen Institute even got into this, right? Where they were teaching CEOs, New Age visualization techniques, meditation. This has a long history, is what I'm trying to say. And sometimes it overlaps with like New Age stuff, right? So they'll teach CEOs like meditation techniques, NLP, right? Maybe even mind control handling stuff, right? Anyway. For the first iteration of WEF and the Young Global Leader Program, it was launched in 1992 for a new community, and one of the earliest ones was Tony Blair. Gordon Brown also attended back at that time. Again, Fabian socialists. Well-known leaders also attended, including Angela Merkel, Orban, Sarkozy, blah, 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 a bunch of heads of state, right? And so it was set up basically to be a, corporate goon, advanced corporate goonery, basically. Ooh, ah. Ooh, ah.
I think the challenge now is to see what we can do as a group and how
This is the creator of the Skype.
how we can best utilize what our common strength is.
Skype.
Great experiences, a great network of people, and I think really good food for thought in terms of
Yummy.
how we have the ability to impact our social and political agendas.
So much diversity. Ooh, young Klaus. Looking suave. More like Klaus Suave. Dang, young Klaus is over here hitting on the diversities. He brought in the diversities to mac on them.
It's the inaugural summit of
the many diversity peoples, including the women's.
of young global leaders.
More like young global ladies.
It's a beginning.
There's a lot to be
Yeah, they look enthralled. Look at this crowd. They're like, was this edited to? Are they is the editor trolling Klaus? What the heck? Right, the young global ladies.
It's a beginning.
Do they look like they're ready to fall asleep? That was some unironic gold editing.
There's a lot to be said for creating a network of people under 40.
By the way, that's the author of the famous paper that we did a talk on this channel. One of the classic global elite texts of soft power, right? We did a talk on Joseph Nye's soft power essay. And that is exerting your influence, exerting and expressing power through non-military means. So culture, right? Projecting American values and culture through movies and music is a form of soft power. And that's why we focus a lot on Hollywood on this channel and movies.
Young means they have more time. Global means they can rise above their parochial national interest. And leaders means they can take initiatives and risks. And what I found in the discussions we had yesterday was that this is an extraordinary group of people.
I like how they just used like elevator music in this. And they used, it's like the richest people on the planet are getting together, right? And they're using like shopping music. Or they're using Pizza Hut training video music.
Who fit those characteristics.
I think that I envy you. And I envy you because, and I can see that the three critical challenges, in my view, are capable of being resolved by the new power of science and technology in a world which is increasingly more and more integrated and interconnected.
We only change, and we only are able to drive change if we are.
I feel like I feel like I'm watching a training video. So that's not good. By the way, that could be a good idea for a skit, right? Where it's like a Pizza Hut style training video, but it's for being a global elitist, right? It's like Klaus Schwab's training video. Hello! Welcome to the world of ruling the world. You're going to make the world great. I hope it has music. I want music in my training video. Hello. Hello. Bis bald. Pick it up, Pizza Hut. Where's my pizza at? Quit doing that. Dude trolling at work. This is a training video? Oh, so there must have been a huge problem in the 1990s of Pizza Hut workers hanging up as people called. And so this is Pizza Hut corporate elite striking back. Good grief.
Bam, bam, bam. It makes you wonder what they're thinking. I mean, what's more important than a customer like me who wants to give you their business?
Mom power, dude, for real.
Nothing.
Moms of the world unite.
It doesn't matter whether they walk in our unit or call us on the phone. We have to make them feel important.
Yes.
You know, treat them with care.
Care. It's like a SpongeBob meme. Care. Pretend to give the people care.
Optimistic, but with a realistic background, with both feet on the ground.
Both of the feet's getting tickled at once, but they're on the ground, and you can't understand how it's even possible. But at the same time as the feet are firmly planted, they're also tickled, and you love it.
And believing also that we have the ability.
Look at this dude's picking his nose right in front of Klaus. And then there's another dude in the back also picking his nose. By the way, who are all these people, right? Is this today's billionaires from 2005? All these guys are billionaires now?
Not to change everything. Not to change everybody. Not to change everybody.
This dude's up there doing some karate.
But we have a radius in which we can act, we can influence, and I think we should take advantage of that, and you should take advantage of that.
This is from 2005, and they're literally doing training video music from 1992. I mean, this is not appropriate 2005 music.
Start thinking about your vision of
Uh-oh. What? Klaus is that Klaus's daughter? What? I'm going to say that's got to be Klaus's daughter. Who knew Klaus had a daughter? Now, she's not actually as bad looking as you might have thought. Klaus's daughter's not, she's not got a whole lot of Klaus. Maybe he adopted her. Who knows? Oh, is that Klaus's daughter? I don't even know. Who knew? Right? Now she's got a little bit of a nerd look going on, but she could be all right, don't you think? She's a lot better looking than what you would have thought.
and your vision of what you want the world in 2020 to look like.
I think the Forum for Young Global.
So he just put his daughter as the director? That sounds like nepotism. Thought y'all was kind of quasi-socialist. I'm just saying she's not a hideous person. She's not what you think she would look like. I didn't say she was a babe. Let's see if that's Klaus's daughter. Who knows? Now, this was a long time ago, so maybe she's... Yikes. So, yeah. There's a Klausette. You got Klaus. You got Klausette. Is there a brother, too? Klaus Jr.? No. Olivier? Is that so? Who know? Who knew? Who knew what the heck?
It's all about linkages. It's about how we link with each.
Who is this? The CEO. Dude looks like a 15-year-old. It can't be a 15-year-old CEO. I thought this was that. Who's that? Extreme sports dude at first. I thought that was him. Remember when he was popular for, I don't even know what he did, snowboarding or something? But then they put him on every commercial for what exactly? Because he had a red fro and was a skateboarder. I don't know. Who was that guy? Remember him? I don't know. Who cares? I'm having fun with this video. It's tripping me out. So it's like I feel like I'm getting training. We're all getting New World Order training tonight, you guys, for free.
Oh, than just taking orders. It's knowing how to treat customers, how to make them feel important.
This is kind of true, though, because the psychology behind the Pizza Hut ad is kind of the psychology behind the New World Order of like, make the people feel like you like them, even though you hate them with all your guts. Give them the impression that you care. Then you will feed them the pizza made of the bug.
When customers can't see you,
Pizza bug.
the only thing they have
This will be Klaus's training video for Pizza Bug, the world's first all bug-based pizza restaurant.
to focus on are how fast things are going and by the tone of your voice. So it's important to be friendly. Remember, it's not just what you say, it's how you say it.
Just remember to fake like you like people, and you'll be a great salesman, perhaps even a politician.
Now that's great service for delivery and carry-out customers.
Hey, what's up, what y'all want? What y'all want on y'all pizza?
Fella, have we linked?
Sean White, thank you, chat. Sean White, Extreme Sports, bro. Whoa, look at all these extreme sports. I'm drinking Mountain Dew, and I'm riding a skateboard off of a cliff into a bottle of Mountain Dew. Ah, it's extreme. Remember when extreme sports was new? And it just kind of like suddenly in the 1990s, there was extreme sports. Like, where'd that come from? Well, I mean, there was already bicyclers, right? And they tried really hard to make bicycling really cool in the 1980s. Remember that movie Rad? We just watched the Rad riff tracks. Did you guys watch that? That was funny. But so I was reading about Rad, and it was actually part of a scheme to push BMX bicycling. And they thought that this movie was going to be, you know, like the next Karate Kid, because it's a very similar kind of Karate Kid plot in Rad. And they spent all this money on this movie, and the movie is actually a promo for BMX bikes. I think they put a lot of money into it, but the movie ended up being a huge flop. So 1980s, they didn't call it extreme sports at that time. It was like, I don't know, they wanted to introduce new sports that weren't NBA, you know, NFL and baseball, right? So they were like, oh, let's get them into bicycling. And look at all the cool kids doing bike tricks, right? And they put Lori Loughlin in it. Yes, exactly. And by the way, that pizza store, a big part of that movie takes place in a pizza store. That pizza place existed from the 1970s all the way up until recently. I went and looked it up just for the hell of it. In the movie, we're way off course. But we're back. We circled back to pizza because that makes me think of the Pizza Hut training video. Anyway. But in some of our older, more conspiratorial podcasts, we did talk about the potential reasons why extreme sports suddenly became this thing. And a lot of those kinds of things, like fads like that, more often than not, they are not purely organic fads. They're actually kind of dreamt up and rolled out by social engineering and corporate elites. Remember Sean White? He's so cool because like he says like and stuff, and he is extreme. This guy, he was like the original soy face dude, right? Oh, whoa, whoa, Mountain Dew, whoa. And then Mountain Dew immediately united themselves to extreme sports, remember? And who cared? Nobody even knew what snowboarding was. And they were like, Sean White is the world's greatest snowboarder. It's like, what? That's awesome, bro. What the heck is snowboarding? You like skateboarding, but on snow? Whoa! That exists?
Every 2 minutes of the
Anyway, I'm still trying to figure out what did he do? Did he do it all? Is that why he's cool? Let's see what Shaun White did. I don't know anything about Shaun White. Y'all know Shaun White. So he's snowboarder, but he's also skateboarder, man. Is that what it is? So he does rad things, right? It's radical, cool, yeah. That's cool. Definitely rad. Super sick, gnarly, yes. Super dope, wicked, whoa, yes. Okay. All right. So Shaun White is legit. And he's cool, even though he's always doing the soy face back into the 90s or whatever. Perfect 100 score. Doing snowboarding. I mean, I don't even know what that means. I'm guessing that's, a perfect 100 out of a 500 scale. I mean, I don't even know what a perfect 100 is in snowboarding. Is it? How do you judge that anyway? All the snowboarders in the chat are about to get mad. They're about to expose me on Twitter. Expose him. All right. So the stuff that he does with wheels, he also does with ice. Got it. Cool, dude. Sweet. Straight 100. Keep it 100, bro. I mean, 100 in snowboarding means what? I don't even know. It means nothing to me. I don't even know what that means. What if you're supposed to get a 500? I don't know. Anyway, why are we talking about Shaun White? We here to talk about Pizza Hut training. Hey, what's up, dude? What y'all want on y'all pizza? Hey, bro. Hey, dude. I kind of like this dude's style. He's just trolling I kind of like it now. They should. Pizza Hut should have done this. Maybe this is the training about how you're supposed to do it. Pizza Hut. Say what? Pizza Hut. I like that. Yeah.
See, it's a combination of what you say and how.
Was that the same dude? He went from hold on. I thought we had a thug. He went from being basically a Latino, pimped out bicycle riding dude, and then suddenly he within an instant turned into 1997 Chad bro. He turned into a dang prep bro. He went from thug. No, he looks like a. Take that back. He looks like he's in the math club. He went from thug to damn math club instantly. He kind of looks like a Mexican Tom, like a young Mexican Tom Green right there. Trolling on the phone. Welcome everybody. If you would hit like and share, you can also give a care by super chatting. Support the show right there via super chats. People are like, go back to Klaus. Well, this video cracked me up.
And have a link with Davos, and really, that's going to be its biggest strength.
Dude, the early Davos look like a damn conspiracy conference, dude. That's weak, right? This looks like some shit that Clyde Lewis would be speaking at a Ramada Inn, dude. What the heck? The global elite in 2005 was living thin, bro. Living low on the hog. Versus now, with their dang Skrippa parties. Y'all hear they had dang Skrippa parties in Davos? Right here, everybody's fighting over the freaking wet sausages at the breakfast bar. At a Ramada Inn. Whoa, dude. We got Ann Coulter up there doing courses. What? Connie Chung. who's that dude? We got Connie Chung, freaking Himmler. Himmler showed up. Connie Chung, Janine Garofalo over there, that chunky woman. Who else? Who was that? There's Jerry Seinfeld right there. That's his back right there. What's the deal with Davos?
And here we go. I can see 465 now. Light is getting longer. Look at
Is this? We got Harold Kautzbella there talking about black goo.
China there.
Here's the black goo.
And family sizes are not decreasing now. Mao Zedong's dog family planning is falling. India's still here. Indonesia's going there. Can you see the Latin American countries?
Dang, bro, it was like performance art, dude. Back in the day, Davos 2005 was like a freaking, I don't know. I feel like I'm at a high school theater production.
Going down in family size, and the Arab countries are getting healthier and healthier, but still
Dude, chill out, bro. Relax. Relax, dude. It's just a dang Microsoft graph. Chill out.
Look at the miracle of Bangladesh. Bangladesh is catching up with India here. It's coming very fast. It's down to three children per woman down here. And the Arab
Dude, back in the day, Klaus's events were more like a freaking, like a high school, like a college seminar over the weekend, right? Where they bring in, you know, George Norrie and Clyde Lewis.
countries are also coming down with family planning, and in the end of the millennium, we have a completely new world. And here are the results.
Look, Connie Chung again. Second Connie Chung.
I'm happy to announce that they're on par with the chimpanzee.
I've learned a lot over the last
Here's Aziz Ansari. They invited him back in the day to do stand-up.
2 days. Perhaps not solved any issues as such, but learned about the environment, global security issues, poverty development, and everyone's brought an interesting perspective to the whole debate.
So young global ladies. Then they brought in I was about to make a joke that it was Dikembe Mutombo. It actually was.
2020.
They brought in the Dikembe Mutombo, bro.
To slow the pace of AIDS and
What your mama address is? I need your Bitcoin.
great chance for us to find a cure for malaria.
The real problem is we've been seeing.
Who else? Hold up. Benicio del Toro came. I was about to make a joke. So we got young Benicio del Toro. Young, skinny Shane Gillis on the right. And then who's that chick? Who came right there? Is that, who's that look like? Does that look like freaking, I don't know who that, y'all got to tell me, who's that blonde chick in the middle? We got young Benicio del Toro, skinny young Shane Gillis back in the day. And who's that chick right there? You got, no, that's Kristen Dunst. That's Kirsten Dunst's aunt, dude. That's Karen Dunst. That's her aunt.
Firstly, I'm not so sure.
Oh shit, we got Dat Fan. Dat Fan up in there doing some stand up. Remember Dat Fan? that Asian dude just grabbed the mic. He's ready to rip, dude. He's ready to let that crowd have it. That's Dat Fan up in there. Fat Dan. Dat Fan. Remember him? Was he funny? Remember when they had that show, America's Top Comic? Yeah, that's him. Dat Fan. Seems like I remember him doing the exact kind of Asian joke skit that you think he's going to do, right? Where he jokes about his experience as an Asian dude in America and then makes a bunch of Asian jokes about Americans not understanding his culture. And I'm guessing that a lot of his jokes are, you mix me up with a Chinese person because, oh, you're dumb. And you should know that I'm Dat Fan. What do you think? What is that? Because look, I'm going to be honest with you guys. A lot of stand-ups suck. A lot of stand-up routines are garbage. Now, I know this audience is super high IQ, super smart. We all know that. But there's people that think that Amy Schumer is funny. There's people that think that like same old routines are funny when they're not. You know what I mean? And you'll notice patterns about, so like a black dude, the black dude does, back in the day at least, I don't even know what, no, they probably still do, right? It's white dude jokes, white girl jokes, and then, oh, y'all ever heard about how black moms spank you? Let me tell you a story about I getting a spanking, right? That's what black dudes talk about. And then if it's Def Comedy Jam, you know, rated R stuff, it's about, you know, vajayjay, basically. That's what black comedians talk about. Let's see if my theory holds true. Now, we tested this many years ago on a stream that got pulled down because I played too many clips, but it was pretty funny back in the day, where I was making fun of horrible women comedians. And we talked, this is like 7 years ago, right? And we were talking about the 5 things that all women comedians talk about, right? Chocolate, periods, sex, their moms, and wine or some shit, right? And we tested it with every woman comedian that we pulled up randomly, and they were always talking about those things. So we've got then the stereotypical Asian comedian routine. We've talked about the stereotypical black dude's comedy routine. Let's see if that theory holds true.
People, it's hard now, right? Because all these other, you know, fucking Korean, they're uniting, fucking breakdancing and shit.
Here we go.
My people, what do we have? Fucking nail salon still. Right? Every nail salon is, see,
Told
it should
you.
be like win-win nails, N-G-U-I-N, right? Instead, it's either something divine or it's like some type of battleship. It's so patriotic. Welcome to Angie's USA Nails. Welcome to Angel Nails. Angel Rainbow North America SEAL Team 6 Cuban Laden Nails. Come inside. Like, what the fuck? Come inside. Vietnamese women are the best salespeople. They would torture you ladies and they would insult you at the same time. Have you seen this?
There you go. Exactly what I predicted. Right. Let's see what else he's talking about.
Or she's making this mixture for your crotch and the Tupperware she had in her salad that day.
You ever notice how stand-ups like to, they love to open their legs and crouch and make their vagina jokes? Like every stand-up that does that, they crouch like that. It's almost like comedians, the stand-ups all rip each other off. Now, I don't think, some of them are genuinely good, and then like everybody rips off the other stand-up. And I didn't even realize, like, you know, that it was this common. But we covered this, by the way, in the Cat Williams stream because he talks about it.
Come here, and then they're not even shy. You ladies are bent over naked. They're like, whoosh.
Comedians also do the exact same sound effects, and anyway, you get the idea. So, is my analysis correct? How did we get to here? I said this was that fan. My mind is going off on stream of consciousness trails tonight. So if we see somebody in the world at the first Davos, it looks like that fan.
We got all the team members because we have
I got a dirty mind. It goes to that fan. Look, there's Ben Stiller, young Ben Stiller in the background with I don't know who's that chick look like. I don't know.
Huge disagreement.
Looks like.
But actually, we did come to something. Okay, we think we solved the CO2 problem. Here's the chart.
Coming from Iraq, where I come from, being in Zermatt for the past 2 days, how things really are, which obviously...
Who's that? Looks like, I don't know, Angela from The Office.
Once we're 10 years further and we're all running countries or huge companies or whatever, it might become slightly more difficult.
And hopefully some
Man,
of the solutions...
a lot of these Nords, man, these Nordic people have lost their minds. They're just... The liberal Nord, the Nord lib. Somebody should make a meme of the Nord lib. I mean, they're just, those people are crazy.
Then deployed globally.
Who's that? Look, that's who's that? Donald Pleasance. There's Donald Pleasance right there in the middle, leaving Davos, the early Davos. Is that go to now? Back in the 2005 Davos, I'm not seeing a lot of prostitutes. I mean, they were bragging about the hoes and the scrippas. basically sold out of all of Switzerland. Dude, this crew of 2005 people looks like they've never even been to it. They've never seen a naked woman. I mean, this is a totally different crowd back in these days. There we go. Now I've got some frat bros. Davos frat bros. Doing some James Bond villain skiing, right? So I mean, back in the day, your global elite training videos, it was legit. You were literally learning to ski like a Bond villain in Switzerland at a Bond villain meeting. It was a little too much like a seminar for my taste, with the whole Ramada Inn look there, the conference room. But okay, all right, we got a little bit of a femme fatale, first halfway attractive looking person showing up. Okay, with some frat bros in the background back there. That's a golf bro. So if you look, different kinds of college and frat bros, right? They got different vibes. And that's a golf bro back there in the back. But, this chick could qualify as, she could be a Bond villain level femme fatale. But she's the first one we've seen.
To prove I was out there.
I'm just thinking that the neck is going to be...
So young global ladies riding the fat... We have the best pimped out scooters to ride across the countrysides. Would you like to hop on my scooter? Young girl of indigenous origins, would you like to hop on the fat wheel scooter?
My hope was to meet a lot of people.
Oh, there we go.
A lot of folks here knew each other already.
Power players.
For the first time.
Legit power players. We got legit power players, and then we got just people trying to hook up to the Wi-Fi. I mean, we got workshops with a plastic printout. Dude, they just printed that out with a dang Xerox 150, right? So back in the day, look, Klaus had small beginnings. That gives us all hope, right? If I could start, I mean, I can pull the kind of crowd that Klaus has got right here. I mean, numbers wise, right? We pull about 120. Good weekend, 120. So we're basically at, 2005 level Klaus machinations over here on my channel. My power plays. My power reach is right now right around what we could get, what Klaus could pull in 2005. He's got like one blonde femme fatale, a bunch of dorks, a bunch of people doing, acting like the nutty professor, right? Like academics that think they're funny. Got some diversities. What's up? Shout out. Got a little bit of Muslimists. Got some workshops. That's right. Got freaking... Who's that? Daryl Strawberry. Got Daryl Strawberry in there. Sitting next to... I don't know who that is. I can't tell. Who's that? Looks like you got Daryl Strawberry talking to Osama bin Laden. And then you got... I'm just joking. That's what a neocon would say. That's a Sikh. I know the difference. But I had to make a boomer joke there. Daryl Strawberry sitting next to... Shit, I can't decide who that is.
Ross, the interesting thing is that this is a town where the church bell still rings. But at the same time, everyone is concerned about the deterioration of the social...
Yeah, what church, though?
...fabric on a more global basis.
We are on the path of creating the new leaders. We're already over the age of 20 now, because they'll be the future leaders for the year 2020. I think we ourselves at this moment in our own country...
That dude will never go bald. I mean, his hairline is like at his eyebrows.
Business.
So he will never go bald.
In creating the right atmosphere to generate or to make more new leaders. I think we should continue doing that.
We should continue to do that.
By understanding physically, not through the age that we grew, which was the internet and the information technology age, by being physically more aware of the issues of the world. And I think that in the hands of a few, there is, in a way, the well-being of many, and that's our job.
Who's that? Princesses? Look at that. Klaus shaking hands with Cindy Crawford. Klaus and Cindy Crawford. What's up? Is that this room where they have the Illuminati party? Who's that? I don't know if Bollywood girls, some girls from Bollywood.
Any forum that brings together a parliament.
Oh, that's not. I was joking, by the way. That's the Queen of Jordan, right? Not Cindy Crawford.
India, and a strategist from
I
South
was
Africa,
joking.
A corporate executive from Oman, and a microfinancier.
She could be a Bond villain, right? She looks like she was probably sent by the CIA to be the wife of the King of Jordan, right?
From Mexico.
She could be a Bond
A
villain.
biologist from Austria and a robot inventor from America must generate uncommonly rich discussion over dinner.
She sounded just like Syrian girl. I thought for a second, I was like, is that Syrian girl talking? Got the exact same voice.
So let the bonds you forged in Zermatt be the base camp of your climb. Make the ascent together and let the world see the possibilities beyond.
Young Global Leader was a great opportunity.
We got Paul Rudd here, right? Andre Agassi. No, that's B grade Mexican Paul Rudd. That's who that is. Anyway, so yeah, basically a Pizza Hut level instructional video for 2005 Davos. It's like, I didn't see any hookers or anything. I mean, that just looked like the most boring bunch of dorks ever, dude. But they were saying that them Davos was sold out. Sold out hose. Davos. So yeah, you want to find out about this, you got to search, as I did, Davos sold out hose. Hey, Pizza Hut, where y'all at? I try to get some of them Davos hoes. Y'all have me sold out or something? The internet said everywhere up in Switzerland sold out of hoes. Y'all got a lot of ho-hos, but y'all got no hoes. Hey, I'm trying to get a call. Give me a hold up in Davos. Davos sold out of hoes. Maybe I got to refine my search. Davos hookers. Davos hookers. Now people are going to think, oh, he's trying to look up Davos hookers. Well, how to get one. No, I'm trying to see where it said they sold out. This was last year's thing. I want this year's. I want last year's. Here we go. 4 days ago. Hookers sold out. Pimps, all the pimps turn the sign around. Closed for the day. Davos. See what this said? Told you. Look at this. Good grief. You can't even read these sites anymore. It's just packed up with pop-ups. Hose services sold out at Davos because finance leaders gather at the World Economic Forum. Dude, go back to this. Things were a lot different back in 2005 Davos, right? Could you imagine this dude? Like, what was he renting hose that night?
Now life is getting longer. Look at China there; it's getting longer, and family sizes are not decreasing. Now Mao Zedong thought family planning is falling. India's still here. Indonesia.
What kind of hoe did that dude request? Like, sold out. Look at that. Hoes gathering in Davos. I mean, just quite a bit of change. I mean, it's a lot different. Davos, 2005 was like a 1997 pizza training video. And now it's sold out. Hoes sold out. Prostitutes report a surge in business during the annual gathering. Escorts booked into the hotel. This is last year's, though. But it's the same story this year. Anyway, I was trying to see what the hose look like. She's not bad. Why you don't have to be a hoe. She can just find a husband. Let's see what they're talking about hoes.
Mass starvation and will become refugees. How does
they care so much about the populace, and they're all just up there buying hoes, right?
far it hasn't even stopped the burning of entire cities in Ukraine. This is what Russia is doing with its artillery, with its missiles, with its...
So they just went to bitch about Russia and people on the internet bitching on the internet. We're going to see that in a second. The clip this year, they were just bitching about people bitching on the internet.
drones. And you know...
Because they know that the most devastating thing was the last 2 years of all these viral videos from Davos.
Drones. And you know that the Russian aggression was never intended to restrict itself to the Ukrainian borders. This war can go further and it make crises wider if the aggressor does not lose. In other words, if the sum of our influence does not outweigh the aggression. Ladies and gentlemen, my husband, the president of Ukraine, when he addressed the leaders of 19 states who are economically the most powerful, offered them unto the whole world a formula about how we can become the most powerful in peace.
So this is Zelensky's wife.
It's a 10-point plan. It's 10 points about how we outweigh aggression and how we prevent existing regional and global crises from converging into one full-scale, full-on global crisis. I want to emphasize that these points are not purely political. Each one of them has a tangible human dimension. This is the dimension of parents who are crying in an ICU where doctors are trying to fight for the life of their wounded child. Or a boy whose family was shot by the occupiers as they were trying to evacuate. This is the dimension of farmers who are afraid of being hazed, and it's
blah, 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 moral, we're so moral. Blah, 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 crisis. We're going to solve everybody's crisis because we care so much. Yeah, right. Meanwhile, ho-flation in Davos. Anyway. So you get the idea. This is a Kissinger CIA thing. Right. Now, let's see. What did Tatonka Blair say?
For a national digital infrastructure. Digitization in healthcare is, I think, one of the great game changers. You know, we should be helping countries to develop a national digital infrastructure, which they will need with these new vaccines. And then, you know, finally, it's also about showing people and showing the political leadership that you can make a positive difference to your healthcare system by adopting these measures because they've got an impact beyond any particular disease. And
so everything needs to be digitized. Everybody's healthcare and health being digitized is going to fix everything with the next round of stabbies, right? So he's basically just talking about the giant panopticon tech control grid to ensure that you're tracked, traced, and stabbed the next time around.
Or pandemic. So I think if you want to
there you go. The next.
Focus,
there you go.
I agree it's vital that you do. You've got to show people that this is a continuing issue, right? It's not a future issue. It's here and now. It's got a
Yeah, so we're back now. I had to switch over to fiber, so maybe that will clear up the streaming buffering. So hopefully that should work. But when I do that, it'll cut out for a second. All right. So there's our friend Tony Blair there.
Do you feel like
Now, I don't think Gil Bates was there this year, but let's see. He's talking about something very important. Talking about Africa. He cares a lot about it, I'm sure. He cares about the people, a man of the people. See what he says.
Do we ever solve these problems? And so I want to give two examples where the world came together.
Why does everybody think that these people are going to or have any legitimate desire to solve problems? I'm baffled by this from the outset, that people think that these people genuinely want to solve problems. It's just bizarre to me. I mean, the people at the level of international billionaire strategist category can demonstrably be proven via scientific studies and many books to be, quote, psychopaths and sociopaths. A large portion of CEOs, billionaires, government elite are bred psychopaths and sociopaths. And this is well known now, right? The narcissistic psychopath. The narcissistic psychopath. And yet, though everyone seems to know that, there is then the belief that these people want to solve the world's problems and help the crises that are happening.
And fantastic solutions resulted. First would be in global health. At the turn of the century, many people realized that we had vaccines that could save lives, and they were getting to the rich countries, but not to the children who needed the most. And a great number of leaders decided to support that endeavor.
He loves the
David
children.
Cameron was a strong supporter.
Yes, he's caring, loves the children, wants drastically to reduce the global population because he loves the children.
UK is the biggest funder of that effort, but it's not the funding that's exciting. What's exciting is what resulted. And over the next 15 years after that was created, childhood deaths were cut in half, from over 10 million a year to under 5 million a year. And the major reason for that was that those new vaccines, rotavirus, pneumococcus, pentavalent, were getting to the world's children and making a huge difference.
So he's talking about that because he's banned from certain places, certain countries, like I think Ethiopia, right? Maybe even India. And he's saying, see how mean they are? They won't let me help them with the medicines that I want to give all the kids in the other countries.
For efforts on the climate change?
Well, he'll be hard to replace because he brought the stature to have the kinds of meetings that a climate envoy needs to have.
And we haven't heard about climate and this nonsense in a long time. You notice that? Like, we didn't really hear a lot of climate crap until COOF. COOF allowed all the climate scammers to come back out of the woodworks and engage in the return of the climate stuff. So you see this gobbling out again, right, after the COOF, because as Klaus said, and as many of the other Davos elites said, oh, look, the fact that we shut things down was good for the earth. Look how much carbon reduction there was. So you see, we need more lockdowns, more shutdowns because of the climate lockdowns. Oops. So they've rolled this guy back out.
I was going to ask you.
To the U.S. The Summer Olympics, when they judge the diving competition, the degree of difficulty has a great deal to do with the final score. And he undertook a tremendously difficult task and really did a terrific job in my...
Talking about John Kerry. Yeah. By the way, on behalf of Tennessee, I apologize to the world, being a Tennessee man, for Al Gore. So we in Tennessee apologize for Al Gore. Think he's a Tennessee person. Climate change. The climate. Climate change is coming for you. Climate change, oh, what will we do? This is DJ Klaus. DJ Klaus. The climate change will kill the children. The climate change. The climate change. Bring that beat back. Bring that beat back, Klaus. Some craft work. Klaus work. The Klaus work. The climate change. The climate change. The climate change will come for you. The climate change. The climate change. I like it. I'm feeling it. What will we do with the climate change? The climate change. I like it. WEF's putting some sick beats on their news reports. I'll take it. The climate change. The climate change.
People feel it's moving in that direction. I'm not so sure.
Can't take any more of that. Here we go. Look at this beautiful woman. Oh, they're bringing the babes. The young global ladies. Let's bring in the young global ladies. Naomi from the heart.
Think about where the places where you can get your message.
Dude, that's dang Bob Dylan. That's Bob Dylan right there. That's Bap Dylan. Bap Dylan.
Cross. But I am trying to figure out, I mean, I have given up on X. What a scary name that even is, right? And I don't know what the alternative is right now. So
the question of the social media, I must say that I have abandoned Twitter too, so X, because yeah, it's.
We're going into a wine mom world order, y'all. It's Klaus and these people are stepping aside. It's going to be the wine mom WNWO. WMNWO, baby.
Toxic
The
environment.
mom world order. And wine mom world order.
We talk about I have no solution.
How many glasses of Chardonnay you think she had today? Wine mom world order. Wine mom world order. Climate change, the climate change, bring on the climate change and the death of the child. Climate change, climate change. Alright, I don't know why this is taking forever to get up to these other clips to roll up here. Here we go. Here's a good one. Let's see who's this. Hillary? Who's that? Ursula. It's your boy Ursula up in the club. Ursher? No, not Ursher. Ursula. What? Yeah. What's up? Climate change. The climate change. I don't know why this is not working right now. Let's try this.
Community. The top concern for the next 2 years.
There's a community.
Not conflict or climate. It is disinformation and misinformation.
In other words, the biggest threat is that people are telling the truth about Klaus and Davos, aka the misinformation on the disinformation.
Followed closely by polar.
Dude, she looks like, again, now see, this is Bond villain level stuff, right? She looks like Rosa Klebb. Remember Rosa? This woman looks like a dang dominatrix, right? That's dominatrix tier. Reminding me of Rosa Klebb from James Bond, right? So Rosa Klebb.
Within our societies. These risks.
She's got that cotton candy witch hair. You know what I mean? When you see an old witch, they got that cotton candy hair. Looks like a Pentecostal preacher man hair.
Are serious because they limit our ability to tackle the big global challenges We are.
She does look like Christopher Walken. Maybe that is Christopher Walken.
Change.
Oh, wow.
It's in our climate and our geopolitical climate. Shifts in our demography.
The climate.
And in our technology. Spiraling regional conflicts and intensified geopolitical competition and their impacts.
Look at Klaus. Klaus over there shaking. He's like, yeah. He was getting jiggy with it. You see that? Klaus over there jiggling.
Political competition and their impacts on supply chains.
Supply chains.
The sobering reality.
The climate will impact supply chains. Climate will impact supply chains. Come on. In other words, excuses used to shut off your food and starve you out. That's what they mean by the supply chains under the attack. The climate change. The climate change.
The reality is that we are once again competing more intensely across countries than we have in several decades. And this makes the theme of this year's Davos meeting even more.
You know who she kind of looks like too? She looks like an old version of Emilia Clarke.
Relevant.
She's like, you know, Queen of Dragons, but if she was also the dragon, right? Y'all know what I'm saying? Y'all don't think so? Y'all don't think she an old Emilia Clarke? She's kind of got that look, right? Y'all know who Khaleesi is? Hey, y'all know Khaleesi? Now, she your cousin, right? That's Tantriqua, and there's also Khaleesi. Y'all know Khaleesi? Shit, I know Khaleesi. That's my cousin.
Which are actually the cornerstone of our program, lead
pogrom. He said pogrom. What?
Transformative challenges, which are actually the cornerstone of our program, lead to uncertainty, generalized fear, and pessimism. They force us into a mode of short-term crisis management at the detriment of long-term strategic and sustainable solutions. This reactionary approach undermines our collective faith in the future. And here we losing the faith of our future, we risk to become much more ego-centered and on a national and individual level. To break this cycle, we need a paradigm shift. We must rebuild trust, and that's
a paradigm shift. What's up? Klaus is a dang presuppositionalist. Klaus over there doing a New World Order tag op, right? Who I'm getting presubbed by Klaus. He's over there talking about paradigms. Collapse the paradigms. That's a transcendental argument for the New World Order.
The theme of our meeting, we have to rebuild trust. Trust in our future. Trust in our capacity to overcome challenges. And most importantly, trust in each other.
He can't say trust. Looks like a motorboat that doesn't work. It's just trust, dude. Trust. It's not that hard. More farmers. Now, the first thing they started talking about was Disease X, the future hypothetical that could outcoof the coof. Disease X, outcoofing the coof. And just yesterday, they renamed it something scary. What was it, Jamie? Do you remember? The Voltron virus, the Vextron virus. They come up with these names that just sound scary. Vex us, that's it. It vexes us. The Vex us virus. No, variant. Remember when they had a variant that was like H210 PPS C-3PO last year. Remember that variant? Y'all know Khaleesi. Y'all know my cousin Khaleesi. Let's see. Vexus. Maybe I misheard what it just sounded. Vexus variant. What's the name for this week's variant? Do y'all remember? Let's see. Tracking Koof. Alex was talking about it yesterday. I thought he said Vexus variant. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Anyway, it's just like the new, latest, scary sounding thing they made up. The Decepticon variant. The Voltron variant. Tokyo Drift variant. Hey, what y'all think about Khaleesi? Hey, y'all know Khaleesi? That's my cousin right there. That's my cousin Khaleesi. Anyway. But at first it's just disease X, right? The climate change. The climate change.
We grab with sluggish growth. The very fabric of our societies is. We grapple with sluggish growth. The very fabric.
What the hell did he say? We garble with gravel voice. We garble with garbage voice. We grapple with garbage voice. What?
Of our societies is inclusiveness, which is in doubt. Environmentally, we confront the relentless challenges of climate change, a threat to our planet's delicate balance. And technologically, we navigate uncharted waters where innovation offers boundless opportunities, but also unprecedented risks. So steeply transformative challenges.
They always say the same stuff. Like, these speeches are so lame and boring. It's like, is this really supposed to impact you? Is this supposed to move me that you talk about we must stand together as a global community to fight the crises that impact us all? And it's just the most, like, trite bullshit ever, dude. Like, can nobody in these circles even just write? I mean, I don't know. Maybe these are all synthoids. They're just not even people. They're just like, hollow synthoids, right? From G.I. Joe. Anybody else watch G.I. Joe? Synthoids?
Which are actually the cornerstone of our program, lead to uncertainty, generalized fear, and pessimism. They force us into a mode of short-term crisis management at the detriment of long-term strategic and sustainable solutions. This reactionary approach undermines our collective faith in the future.
All right, we already saw this part, so this is a longer clip of the same thing we saw. So we're going to skip past this one. All right, who's our next friend here? President of the WEF, Brenda. Hey, that's my wife, Brenda, right now. That's Brenda. What's Brenda up to?
The order anymore. We are on the way to a new order, so we are between orders. Do you agree with that, or are there ways of what are we able to keep on the positive side from the old order to bring into a new world order, and how can we avoid that new world order becomes like a jungle growing back and we rather...
There's no such thing as a new world order. It's the conspiracy theory of people on the internet. Does nobody know about the Synthoid conspiracy? That's a classic G.I. Joe. This is one of the G.I. Joes that scared me when I was a kid. There was a couple of G.I. Joes I got scared of when I was like 5. And I'm pretty sure Synthoid conspiracy scared me. Because I had a feeling deep down that it was real, right? I was like, this is what's coming, dude. Synthoid conspiracy. This is a good episode, too, because Basically, Cobra comes up with this way to create fake puppet leaders of the United States and the Pentagon. And they're just like these hollow synthoid gray goo people that do the bidding of Cobra, but they're replacement Pentagon leaders, right? Cobra! Synthoids! I'm trying to remember how Destro... I can do a perfect Cobra. But how does... I'm trying to remember how Destro sounds. See if we can find Destro. Here's Destro talking. Destro's talking to Lady J. Who's the hottest G.I. Joe chick? You think it's Lady J? Lady Jamie? Jamie's like, what girl are you saying is hot? You talking about cartoon characters that look hot? You creep. No, I'm just saying Lady Jamie.
We're gonna attack. Let's go for it.
Yo, Joe.
The Cobra base is right about here.
The Cobra base is right about here.
But it
But
may be a trap.
it may be a trap.
We're going.
There is something you must know first.
It's a pretty good Destro. I think I've never done Destro, but that's pretty good, right? Over there with he's trying to spit game to Lady J, right?
Have order based on international law and the
A based
principles
what?
that have
Did he say a based international order? What? Shout out to Klaus. Klaus and WF just suddenly got based in a red pill.
brought us prosperity and freedom for decades.
I guess, and maybe this is the old kind of teacher in me coming out. I think of this a little bit more about a transition of eras rather than a transition of orders, but the two are kind of cousins of one another. The reason I draw the distinction is because I don't think the international order built after 1945 is getting replaced wholesale with some new order. It will obviously evolve as it has evolved multiple times over the decades since 1945. But I do think in a more sharp and distinctive way, we are moving into a new era, and that's what I talked about in my remarks, that we are, the post-Cold War era has come to a close. We're at the start of something new. We have the capacity to shape what that looks like. And at the
You're right, I'm wrong. Lady J was like the early quasi thespian girl, if you know what I mean, right? Lady J is the, special ops thespian. Who am I thinking of? What's the redheaded chick? What's her name? The one Destro was spitting game at. What's her name? It's not Lady G.I. Jane. That's not her name. That's Demi Moore, dude. Nobody remember. Who's the redhead? Scarlet. There we go. Scarlet. Duh. Where'd I get Lady Jane? Lady J is like the Mexican chick in Aliens, right? Remember her? Vasquez. How do you like it, Vasquez? Won't you try dude, Vasquez? Remember? Doesn't Bill Paxton say a bunch of stuff to Vasquez like that, right? Yeah, Lady J. Yeah, that chick's... she's the babe, not what's her face. Who played Lady J in the movie? I don't even remember. G.I. Joe movie was stupid. It actually had a conspiracy plot though. The movie. Anyway, I don't even know who that is. Yo, Joe. Do 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 do. Look at this. Somebody drawing it with a dang crayon. Looks like trash, though. Looks like trash, though. I want the cartoon. There we go. Yeah, that's Lady. That's Scarlet. I got them all mixed up. Do you know there's a episode of G.I. Joe where there's a pop star mind control? And a MK Ultra episode? And a weather control episode? Mm-hmm. And a Federal Reserve episode? Mm-hmm. Yes, you heard me right. You heard me right.
Going.
Anyway. All right, that's enough of that dude. That is super boring. But he said there's a new world order coming, so there we go. Starting to think that all the New World Order people are actually just really boring people. Maybe that's why they got to get them hoes, right? Davos was hoed out. Sold out? Nah, hold out. All right, so who's this chick? She looks like... She looks like... Who is that that short-lived Fox News woman with the glasses? Like TD Jakes, but her name was like TD Fox or something like that. She was a brunette. Remember her? A lot of you politicos will remember that chick. This is like the blonde version of her. Remember her? Forget what her name was. Like a pseudo-conservative, like cool hip atheist conservatism. What was her name? Forget her name. She reminded me of Kennedy. Remember Kennedy's boats and hoes? Kennedy. Yeah, remember her? Didn't she kind of turn conspiratorial? I can't remember. Kennedy, remember her from MTV? Wait, did Kennedy become the chick I'm talking about? Yeah, MTV. Okay, she was a libertarian. That's right. I knew that she was into some kind of political thing. Remember Kennedy? Who's the chick I'm thinking of? There was a girl on Fox that was S.E. Cup. That's it. Thank you. Look at that. I literally have the smartest audience, right? I pull out the most obscure references, and my audience knows immediately what I'm thinking of. No. But by the way, Rachel, what happened to that chick? These are like the forgotten politicos of 10 years ago. Tomi Lahren. Yeah, remember her? S.E. Cup. Is that a real name? I'd rather listen to
social conservatism.
I'd rather listen to Kennedy than S.E. Cup. But yeah, remember this? Did they create Daria on the basis of her? Was she the voice of Daria? Remember Daria for Comedy Central?
I know of a certain Georgia band that is releasing their 9th album on September the 27th called Monster. It's their 9th album, full-length album.
This is like angsty coffee shop nerd girl, right? Sort of the forerunner to today's social justice activist girls, right? This is 90s alt chick. Remember those girls? There's different types of 90s alt chicks too. There's like the manic pixie dream girl types. Remember those? The Jamie talks about that. Remember that? That's like perfect. Oh, the paradigm example of that is Mad Love. Remember that stupid movie with Drew Barrymore? Drew Barrymore is the... I can't believe that's 2001. There's no way. That's 90s. Yeah, it's not 90s movie. She's literally the manic pixie dream girl because she's manic. I forgot that this is actually a dark movie because she's a suicidal schizo. And it's funny because Chris O'Donnell, remember that dude? Chris O'Donnell thinks he can fix her and that the system is the problem. But this movie is actually wrong on multiple levels because the whole point of this movie is actually that people need their meds. It's like Jordan Peterson level. Gotta take your meds. Gotta take your meds. Right. The whole point of this movie is take your meds. Anyway, Jamie and I are going to do a breakdown of what I termed 90s alt coms. Remember these? This is like Reality Bites and Mad Love. Singles. Remember Singles? It's like how Gen X conceived of relationships and coming of age, right? These kinds of movies. There's a bunch of these. It's its own weird genre from the late 90s, right? And it's a lot of it's a lot of overlap with the Seattle grunge scene for some reason. And by the way, people think this is crazy, but if you know, I mean, we have a pretty good track record, right? There's actually, guess what? Shocker. There's a lot of CIA connections to the grunge scene. Absolutely. A lot of people don't know that. But if you go back to the old John Adams podcast that we used to do back in the day, as John was digging up many CIA connections to the punk scene, he also found a lot of connections to the grunge scene. So, not really surprising, but point being that a lot of the Seattle grunge scene, I think, was pushed on purpose, kind of part of, trends, fads, and social engineering stuff. No, yeah, Heathers is kind of in the same genre of like Gen X stuff, but this is a unique thing in the 90s though, right? Because Heathers wasn't really grunge. It's kind of pre-grunge. It's still Gen X stuff. But this is supposed to, Matt Dillon's in some of these, right? It's supposed to express like the angst of, sophisticated city libs in the 1990s and, what they struggled with. And I've never seen this one, actually. I've never seen singles. I've seen all of the other ones. It's got Bridget Fonda and Matt Dillon, but we just watched Mad Love, which was pretty wild. It kind of had these pharmaceutical messages, which was weird. I didn't expect that, but it's not surprising. It's just not what I expected. But, you know who else is in all these? Frickin' Ethan Hawke, dude. Ethan Hawke is in every one of these 90s alt-com type movies. Empire Records, that's another one of these. Remember Empire Records? So this was, again, I was a kid at this time, but 1994 Reality Bites. This was targeting the Gen X who were like coming of age and becoming adults at that time, right? They're like 18, 19, 20, 25. The struggles when I live with my boyfriend, right? That kind of stuff. And what do I do when I meet somebody else at the Soundgarden concert that I also like, but it's just as fucked up as me and is also on SSRIs, and like, what are we going to do? Because everything is a mess and our life is just meaningless, but can we find a hope, a shred of hope? We found love in a hopeless place. I know that's 2000s, but you know what I mean. Reality Bites. This has nothing to do with Davos. I don't know how we got onto 90s alt-coms, but Jamie and I are thinking about, we're going to do a stream on these because they're so... Look, there's Steve Zahn and Janine Garofalo. That's weird. I didn't know they were... I don't remember that.
I lost my job. Why did you get a job?
So it's like life, man. And freaking like, what do you expect? And like, what do you want from me? And like, so what if I sleep with whoever and whatever? Like... And then what about, so what if there's like Ben Stiller or whatever? And we want to go to film school. Film school. Film school. That's a super Gen X alt thing to do. Totally. Right? What are you going to do with your life? I'm probably going to go to film school. Because I want to make films that express atheism, because I'm an atheist now. It's edgy, right? Like, what's the purpose of it? Like, it's like nihilistic. There's a lot of nihilism in Gen X angst.
Lost my job. Why did you get a job at Burgerama?
She's smoking at dinner with her parents. Just like David Spade, isn't that? That's weird. Jobs and friends and like, what am I supposed to do with my life? And like, whatever. Well, these are people that were raised by the boomers though, right? So no wonder there's a mess. It's a giant mess, right? Interesting. Anyway, alt comms. That'd be a fun podcast when Jamie and I do that. I'm gonna go to film school. What are you gonna do when you grow up? I'm gonna go to film school.
We have put billions of dollars towards those goals. We're truly losing progress. We're now about to see the...
Dr. Vanessa Carey from the World Health Organization, envoy for health and climate. Oh, so she's the source, the expert telling us that the climate change is hurting everybody's health. Oh, yeah.
Statistics of the deaths that we're seeing by 2050 is more than double what the statistics used to be.
Right. So I wonder why people 20 to 50 are dying at double the rates. I wonder what it could be. Wonder what thing might have happened in the last 3 years that we've done differently that might contribute to that. Well, it's sure as heck not that, right? We know that. We know it's not that thing. It's got to be something else. What's our boy Tedros up there saying? Tedros.
If I may, although
Don Tedros
COVID came immediately, we were preparing for COVID.
He's still talking about COVID. Still talking about it. Oh, now he's talking about disease, COVID part 2. Has everybody forgotten that Bill Gates said there'd be COVID 2? I haven't forgotten. I think about it almost every day.
This is. You may even call COVID as the first disease X.
COVID.
And
did you hear that? COVID was disease X part 1. By the way, nobody remembers this. I remembered it. Some of my nerds in the chat are going to remember this because we got, again, the highest IQ audience with the broadest depth and breadth of grasping and catching obscure references. Do y'all remember the TV show The Event? I do. 1 season. And anytime NBC did those big, late 2000s, early 2010s series that they were pumping about a bunch of money into, like The Colony. It might not have been at NBC. It might have been ABC. I don't remember. But The Colony was good, right? With Carrie Russell. No, not Carrie Russell. With Lori from Lost and Sawyer from Lost and Lori from Walking Dead, right? And Colony was full of like all kinds of predictive programming. We talked about it on a stream. Actually, a really good conspiracy show. Lasted 3 seasons. And then, but any of those kind of big broadcast, super series that they were doing in the 2020s, 2010, 2000s, and the 2010s. They were always packed with predictive programming, like J.J. Abrams' Revolution. Remember that? Everybody's forgotten that there's a great reset that resets us back to not having electricity. Okay. Well, I have been watching The Event because everybody's talking about The Event. We don't even know what The Event is, but there's a lot of talk about The Event coming, right? Yeah, Colony was good. And people said, what about The Strain? I did watch The Strain. What's his name? The Horror Dudes TV show. Strain was okay. It kind of got old after about the 4th season. I was getting tired of it. But it did have, basically a coof scenario, right? So The Event, right? Been watching this. And I couldn't believe it, but I'm going to go ahead and just Guillermo del Toro, thank you. In The Event, the basic premise of the show is only 1 season. I've seen all X-Files. We've done that a million times. But in The Event, basically, it turns out aliens have been here. Obviously, I don't believe in aliens, but this woman is basically the ambassador of the aliens. She's talking to the CIA dude here. They have a Obama-type president. This is the Obama dude, basically the president, right? When was The Event, by the way? 12 years ago? I think it was like a 2009 or 10 show. Somewhere in there. Anyway, the alien race in the show is preparing to depop everybody. And then the revelation is the revelation of alien life and that our visitors are here and they're going to help us and they're going to depop us, right? So basically, Childhood's End /V, right? Which I just thought that was interesting. I'm not saying that because everybody's talking about the event, it therefore means the TV show that I'm talking about from 10 years ago, the event. I just thought that was interesting that, right, there's all this talk of a coming event. Paul Joseph Watson has done a few videos on the event. Everybody who's a YouTuber got the email that talks about sensitive events and the ability to cover sensitive events on YouTube. It was an email that went out to everybody. So who knows what it means, but the TV show, interestingly, is about disclosure and Depop. So I thought that was worth mentioning. But Tedros just said that COOF was part 1. Disease X is part 2. It's funny because that's exactly what Gil Bates said.
It may happen again. Of course, there are some people who say, oh, this may create panic. No. It's better actually to anticipate something that may happen because it has happened in our history many times and prepare for it. Yep. We shouldn't face things unprepared. We can prepare for some unknown things.
That's why they had like 5 different drills doing the exact same thing at COOF. They were very prepared for it, right? By the way, thank you guys for those super chats. Y'all have been very gracious and generous tonight. But I do need to tell you a little bit of a something. And that's because we got some friends, some aid, not AIDS, some aid from our sponsors. And we have multiple sponsors, but our favorite sponsor is Chalk.com. Chalk is the best when it comes to supplementation out there. You can't beat Chalk because they have a better than organic standard. They're hyper particular. They're spurgy about their purity standards for their products. Their products, for example, the Tomcat 100, are proven to boost testosterone. They have a new product out, as you know, the Chad Mode pre-workout. None of that toxic crap. It's just straight up hardcore energy. It's powdered energy, basically. And I have to be careful with it. But let me tell you a little bit about Chad Mode first.
I want to show off something that we're all proud of. I got a browser here. This is...
Come on now.
I want to show off something that we're all proud of. I got a browser here. This is Dyer.
Chad Mode is your ultimate natural pre-workout, designed to take your performance to the next level. Chad Mode is for Natty Beast alphas only. Whether you're hitting the gym, invading a favela, conquering a small village, gambling, burning the midnight oil, mogging on your coworkers, or getting banned from Facebook, Chad Mode gives you the competitive edge you need. It's as simple as mixing 1 or 2 scoops of our fine powder into water or juice, providing you with a delicious, energizing beverage featuring a burst of sweet, organic fruit flavor. Chad Mode will give you the extra edge you desperately crave. Chad Mode stands out from the crowd by excluding artificial flavors, preservatives, sweeteners, and dyes. We've even avoided so-called natural flavors, ensuring a clean and effective formula. Only soy boys and betas guzzle blue dye and sucralose, further tanking their already low testosterone levels. Chad Mode is made in America. Unlike your common TikTok peasant's pre-workout powder, it does not contain Chinese lab-made caffeine and artificial sweeteners that soy boys so often crave. Experience the pure goodness of Chad Mode with Blue Magic registered trademark organic blue spirulina extract, organic lemon, cherry, and organic maple crystals. Forget synthetic caffeine. Embrace the natural power of organic green coffee bean extract. Each dose of Chad Mode mirrors the caffeine kick of a cup and a half of coffee, delivering a surge of energy alongside essential vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and herbal extracts. Chad Mode will allow you to fire your boss and mog on anyone who opposes you. Chad Mode will give you a dominant and aggressive edge, like a lion hunting a gazelle where the gazelle is a TikTok gym zoomer macro guzzling sucralose on the daily, edging to TNF videos. Whether you're seeking a high-potency, junk-free pre-workout or a better way to kickstart your day, Chad Mode has you covered. It's not just for men. Chad Mode is a solution for anyone ready to conquer their fitness and life goals, dominate their coworkers, and aggressively gamble their life savings. Don't miss out. Secure your supply of Chad Mode on TikTok Shop with a limited time massive discount. Elevate your workouts and supercharge your days. Chad Mode. Not for your average gym bro zoomer who guzzles synthetic blue dyes on the daily. Buy on the TikTok Shop now with a massive discount provided by TikTok for a very limited time. Buy now while this is still available. Chad Mode has been flying off the shelves because it's the first of its kind. Certified for alpha or sigma males only. Do not buy if you are a beta. We will refund your money. Chad Mode is your ultimate natural pre-workout, designed to take your performance to the next
show
level.
off something that we're all proud of. I got a browser here. This is Jay Dyer's much vaunted, much sought after Philosophy 101. Now, he just got this page up. We are just testing it out. You guys are some of the first people in the world to see it. I want to say, for my part, it's not Philosophy 101. I think this is a mistitling. I really think of it as like Philosophy Unleashed, because a Philosophy 101 course, they give you kind of some useless information that you can't make sense of. Jay actually lays out over 12 weeks, dozens and dozens of hours put into just the presentation of this, let alone the hundreds and thousands of hours of research that it takes to have a coherent evolution and history of the origins of philosophy, the uses of philosophy, the different ways to look at it over time, and how that has been brought about to what we have today, which is almost an absence of philosophy on the objective logic and reason side, and an overabundance of woke philosophy that is irrational and is made up day by day as people are like, I think we should bring racism back, and then here's a justification, and then it gets wokeified and spread out, and then all of a sudden you have a bunch of communist, socialist ideas where you become the property in action. You need to be able to stand your own ground. It helps to have a foundation in philosophy because it's a method to find truth. When you get down to it, philosophy is there because you love truth enough to go and learn how to find it because it's valuable. So if you're interested in things like that, there is the landing page. We'll link it up in the notes. It is a longer one, so we'll get a shorter URL for this. I'm sure Jay has a link on his page. I just wanted to show it off. Now you know it exists. You can go look for it and see why this is not your father's philosophy, right? So well done. I'm proud of everyone who helped to produce and edit the course. And of course, Jay did a flawless job in presenting the course over those 12 weeks. And he's a juggernaut. He's another guy, just like John Bush, in action all.
Yeah, I want to remind you to go to the website. Yeah, so I'm having some internet connection difficulties tonight. So anyway, basically I was just saying you can go to the website and get the members section discussion with Jason Burmis on the Jeff Stein that we covered. This stuff, remember him? Your boy right there, Jeff Stein. That That's in the member section with Burmis. And I'll be talking about some more of that stuff as well in the next members talk. I was not super overwhelmed by what Millet said. I felt it was a little underwhelming. And if you want to hear the take that Tristan had, being down there in that region, right? Tristan had a pretty interesting take on Javier Millet, and you can watch that if you go and watch the life coach guru stream that we did, last night or the night before. Tristan chimed in, and because that stream originally was going to be about Davos and what we're talking about tonight, you can go hear Tristan's take. Basically, he kind of just says that socialism is bad. Whoa, right? Like, whoa, yeah. If we only had somebody who could say the crushing blow that socialism is bad, then we can own the libs, own the Davos elite. They don't care that you think socialism is bad. Like, I just don't get why that was supposed to be some, like, oh, whoa, it's a super own that Millet went and said socialism bad. Whoa. It's over. Klaus is going to stop now. Time to retire, Klaus. Is this another Let's see. The CEO of Bayer. What's he talking about? Climate change? Severe weather?
100 million people.
So the CEO of Bayer Pharmaceuticals is at Davos talking about the weather.
But what?
I gotta admit, I kind of like this blue, Star Wars Death Star style lighting that Davos has. It's kind of like mine. I got some blue Davos energy up in here, but they do have a pretty hype aesthetic when it comes to the lighting.
I think what sticks with me is from the report. 700 million people at risk from severe weather events, 700 million more people, 1.6 billion life years lost between now and 2050. I mean, that's just around the corner.
What? A billion people, 1.5 billion people are in danger of weather events. What do you mean? Like, where did you get that statistic? It just sounds made up to me, right? Here's now Fox covers Davos.
For the second.
Right? Remember, when I made my Davos video 6 years ago, whatever it is, 6. Nobody talked about this, okay? It was fringe. Remember this? Remember pale, carb-bloated me? Right here? Talking about Davos. It says 5, but it's actually 6 because it's like right at, it's 2 days away from saying 6 years. So it's 6 years. So I made this video January 23rd, 2018. How things have changed. Haven't things changed? And yet ain't a damn thing changed. So here we are, years later. I'm a massive e-celebrity. Looking back on me as a carb-bloated dude in a farmhouse. Now at the pinnacle of middle-class living. From farmhouse to middle class. I got sass. Anyway. Talking about Davos back in the day. Nobody talked about that. It's crazy. Conspiracy stuff. Now, pre-chalk. Yep, that's Jay pre-chalk. Now, 6 years later, you got Elon Musk pumping in, chiming in, talking to Klaus and people. You got Jesse Waters over on Fox.
There are things that
Talking
are
about
unknown that may happen. And anything happening is a matter of when, not if. And that was when we gave the name Disease X. So Disease X is a placeholder for unknown disease. You may even call COVID as the first disease X. And
I'm just spitballing here, but what if they chose disease X because Elon Musk chose X? So they basically were like, because they say the number one threat is misinformation, aka Twitter allowing people to critique Davos. And for the last 2 years, the Davos clips have just gone everywhere, right? They probably chose this term for this made up thing, probably on that basis. So then people would associate X, right? Which is not perfect, but the point is that there is at least somewhat of a return, even though in the last few months it seems to have like tanked everybody's reach. But at least in the last 2 years, there has been somewhat of a freeing up on X. And that's why you see that, like, you know, I'm over 60K now. I'd like to be, I feel like I should be at 100K, but whatever. We'll get there soon, Lord willing.
it may happen again.
The guy who covered up the Chinese lab leak is getting his ducks in a row for the next Chinese lab leak. We're in good hands. The people that brought us the first pandemic are now hard at work preparing for the second.
There are things that are unknown that may happen. And anything happening is a matter of when, not if. And that was when we gave the name Disease X. So Disease X is a placeholder for unknown disease. You may even call COVID as the first Disease X. And it may happen again.
The guy who covered up the Chinese lab leak is getting his ducks in a row for the...
All right. Disease X, baby. Let's see. We saw Tedros. We seen Klaus. Who's this? Ugh. What's up with all the wine moms whining out, rambling, just wincing and whining over there? Screeching. The women's girl power screeching at Davos. Look at that, it's all ladies in the background. The women, ladies are taking over Davos. Shout out to the wine moms in power.
It is threat. And maybe not many noticed, but it was part of the Russian. And maybe not many noticed, but it was part of the Russian military doctrine that they will start information war. And we...
Oh, yeah. So Russia, misinformation, Russia. Of course, you know, we haven't heard that before. Where's the pagan Davos thing? That's what I want. That's the fun thing. We got to find that, right? It was like a Native American blessing. That was the best part, right? This stuff is like straight cringe, dude. Okay, it's not a Native American, then it's a blessing at Davos. Let's see what this is.
A particular responsibility to rebuild trust in how we assume our own role as trustees. Hidden behind
the trustee. Klaus said he's the trustee of the world order. Here we go. Here it is. This is what I was looking for. No manaka na horda hamahana huki no manaka na nakalaka nakatu makalaka ha makamaka ho ho no mo ho ho makalaka ha makamaka ho no mo ho at Davos all them Davos ho sold out nakalaka ha makalaka ho ho. Makalakaha, makamahani, ho ho, no mo hoes at Davos, no. Makalakaha, makamahani, ho ho, all them hoses sold out of Davos. a bunch of quacks, dude. Mecca lecca ha, mecca mecca honey ho ho. Everybody ho is sold out of Davos. I still haven't seen what a Davos. That one woman was iffy, right? This might pull up something gross. So let me back out of this. Oops. Can we see who we're dealing with here? What? Makalakaha, makahana, hana, ho, ho. So basically, it's just this one woman, right? It's just her. Because all of these images are just her. So is she like the one at Davos? So that when she gets rented out, it's like, we sold out. Better flip the open sign. We're closed for the day. Anyway. Chris Kerwin says $10. I hope this finds you well, Jay. Thank you for your work. Thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate that. He sent a late super chat the other day. And so I'm catching up. Honeybee, 00 Honeybee, once again with the fattest super chat of the night, I think. But it looks like it so far with another fat $50. Throwing down Dank Stacks. Frankie D, $5. Do a Nick Cage ASMR channel where you discuss geopolitics as Nicolas Cage. Well, what's the ASMR part, though? That'd be like Nicolas Cage, I don't know, brushing his teeth. Nicolas Cage rubbing feathers on his face. I mean, what is that? How is that ASMR? But I like the idea. I like where you're going with that. Real Cooter Brown, $5.50. Thank you so much. Long time super. Don't think I've seen Cooter Brown in a while. Glad to see you back. Back in the saddle, that super chat saddle. Ooh, pay piggy. Spooner Goblin, 96. $5. You know what song I woke up with in my head? It was really bizarre. Elvis. King Creole. King Creole. I don't even know the lyrics. But that was in my head because I was playing it in a dream. And then I woke up and I saw a relative. And the relative said, you know what I was playing this morning on my radio? I said, what? Elvis. That was weird. Just kind of a weird synchro-mystical Elvisism today. Well, there ain't no hoes no more at Davos. I said, well, there's no more hoes at Davos. That's harder than I thought to do Elvis singing about no hoes at Davos. Anyway. King Creole. Actually, that movie's actually pretty good. So I think, pretty sure King Creole is Elvis's highest rated movie. It's actually pretty good if you've never seen it. Where was that? Super chats. Spooner Goblin 96. See, he's talking about that 1996 Spoon Man, right? Spoon Man, come together with your hands, save me. I'm together with your plan, save me. Spoon Man. No, wait, I'm mixing up my Seattle vocals there. Spoon Man, come together with your hand, save me. That's my Chris Cornell, okay? I don't mind stealing bread from the mouths of decadence. I can't feed all of higher hell when my cup's already overfilled. But I'm going hungry. Y'all got a little treat tonight. with some Chris Cornell, Temple of the Dog with Pearl Jam. I don't mind stealing bread from the mouths of decadence, but I can't feel the height of hell when my cup's already overfilled. I'm going hungry. Down, 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 down. Temple of the Dog. I'm going hungry. Nobody knows this. Anyway. That was a pretty good Eddie Vedder, wasn't it? That was all right. Yeah. See the people in the chat's like, that's actually all right. He's all right. It's all right. Even flow. But that relates to the Gen X alt comms, right? Because that was all Seattle-ish stuff. Didn't Reality Bites take place in Seattle too? Yeah, it's all these. I don't know. It's all weird, dude. But thank you, Spooner Goblin. Spoon Man, come together with your hands, save. No going back, $3. Do you remember the blood race scene in Blade? Yes, Blade with Wesley Pipes. I picture the elite having these, but where they sacrifice the young. Do you think this happens? I think that has happened. Absolutely. I don't know where and how often, but yes, I think that kind of stuff happens. Project X, $5. Kissinger is a protege of William Yandell Elliott, a Rhodes Scholar who wrote a very important book called The Pragmatic Revolt in Politics. Okay, definitely need to get that. Let me write that down. Pragmatic Revolt in Politics. Yes, because that sounds like a lesser known classic global elitist text. There's a section in the book called Roundtable for the Republic. There you go, roundtable groups. Yeah, exactly. Gary ties 00 Honeybee for that $50 super chat. I've been looking all over for Davos hoes, and I couldn't find anybody here but Nordlibs that call themselves Wyman. That's nice. Gary has the funny super chat of the night. Our boy AC sends the big 4-0, $40. So I guess AC hanging out over in Davos. He couldn't find no hoes neither. So he sent a nice $40 super chat. Thank you so much, AC. Appreciate that. Taking out of that hoe fund and putting it over into the Pay Piggy fund. That was nice of him. Shout out to Kennedy and MTV being a dang libertarian. What's his name also, right? Adam Carolla. No, not Adam Carolla. Adam. I just went blank. Who's the other libertarian MTV dude? He's been on Joe Rogan and Alex a bunch. What's that guy? I just went blank. King Creole. More Spoon Man. Who am I thinking of? Dave Smith. No, from MTV, dude. Adam Curtis? He did the No Agenda show. Adam Curry. Why did I get Curtis? Yeah, what am I thinking? Adam Curry. Another MTV bro. Y'all remember that? You know, and I talked to Mo, because wasn't Adam's co-host Mo? And Mo and I had a bunch of DMs. I was trying to get an interview. Yeah, look at Adam Curry back in the day, dude.
Hi, Adam Curry back with you on MTV. Well, here's the story. They've been called rowdy, raunchy.
So these are the Gen X dudes, right? See, Adam Curry, just like Winona Ryder and Ethan Hawke and Drew Barrymore, that's the Gen X crew right there. Remember that? And remember this chick? What happened to this chick? Is she still a Fox thing? This sounds like it's got to be a fake name. S.E. Cup. Did she go to CNN? Yikes. Fussy wine mom. Yikes. But wasn't she on Fox? Remember that? Like 10 years ago, she was a thinner Fox woman. Wasn't she? King Creole. Yeah, see, here's
Dan, why don't you go
here's the liberals making fun of her, right?
say hi to the new neighbor?
The Young Turks 10 years ago making fun of fake conservatives or whatever.
Is a conservative pundit and also an author that we've had on the program before. She wrote a book called Losing Our Religion, in which she talks about how Christianity or Christians are being persecuted in the country. However,
yeah, she was one of these like sassy, lesbian spectacled, like I got, right? But put her boots up on the table. Ooh, sassy. Ooh, she's a sassy talk girl, right? Like the atheist conservative, right? That kind of thing. Ooh, look at all. Ooh, sassy. Look at all that sass over there, right? That's who I was for. S.E. Cup. Give me a break. And what now? She's like retired to being CNN mom. Yikes.
President Trump just sat down for his first interview since his longtime personal attorney, Michael Cohen, was sentenced to prison. The president chose friendly Fox News, and here's a clip.
Why did you hire Michael Cohen? He was known as a fixer.
I'll tell you what, first of all.
That was his title,
he did
a
very
fixer.
low-level work.
Why did you need him?
He did more public relations than he did law, but he did stuff you'd see him on.
It was an infomercial, so I'm not sure that we really learned much about the investigation or China or tariffs or anything else that's going on in that orbit.
Yikes. Just sassy politicos, sassy talking heads, political women talking with sassy. Look at all that sass. There's so much girl sass. They must know what they're talking about. I will listen and believe them. I mean, she's got glasses like me. Lesbian glasses with sass. Sass glasses. Y'all know Khaleesi? Do y'all know my cousin Khaleesi? Y'all heard? I heard. How she doing? How Khaleesi doing? Anyway, if you want to follow me, you can over on Twitter. Right her. So, you know what? Tonight was wild. It was all over the place. But I can't sit here and listen to WEF clips without doing it this way. I mean, it's just too damn boring and just ridiculous. That you got to be acting a fool, right? So we explored the Gen X psyche a little bit. We got a little bit of Pizza Hut training in. We got a little bit of Davos villain training in from Klaus's original instructional videos. We talked about some fascinating movies from the 90s that speaks to the struggles of a generation, the Gen Xers, the angsty, apathetic Gen Xers raised by the boomers. Tonight was popping off. Pop, pop. Pop, pop. Remember, what's his name? Attitude? Magnitude. Pop, pop. Magnitude? That's a funny character. Pop, pop. There were some pretty funny episodes of Community back in the day. Pop, pop.
What exactly is the sandbox then?
Pop, pop. Mr. Anderson since $3. Was Bad Times at the El Royale in your movie reviews? You know what? I watched it and we didn't do it. So I need to go back and redo that movie. So
no,
you're right.
No white women here,
Pop, pop.
Party. Don't tell that to Magnitude.
Is that Dat Fan?
Who's Magnitude? Yo, 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 yo. Pop, 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 pop.
He's just this absolutely pointless dude. This black dude that just shows up with his catchphrase. Pop, pop. And then he makes your party lit, dude. What does he do exactly? What does he do? Pop, pop. He just makes your party lit, dude. Magnitude. Magnitude just shows up. And you're like, what's he here for? Pop, pop.
I'm saying you're missing it. It's the political showdown of the century. The thing that remains is to tally the vote in this matchup between the youthful, charismatic Magnitude and Leonard, the human race.
Anyway, we're not here to watch community episodes. Harry Serpano, $6. There's a new book from December 2023 called The Satanic Aim of the United Nations, World Economic Forum and Great Reset. Have you seen it? No. But I was looking through some of the previous books on this topic. I need to write my book on all this stuff. You know what I mean? I was just thinking yesterday, man, it's time to write a book about the NWO. You know what I mean? On all these fronts. But this one is back in print if you want to get it. It's not me farting, so don't go into fart mode like you guys do. It's the books. Right? Can I reproduce the fart sound? The books on the table. These are good books, right? Oh, there you go. Make your fart jokes. Anyway, those books are good, but I'll have to get that book. Pop, pop, because I ain't seen it yet. Magnitude. Pop, pop. Pop, pop.
And eventually, this caterpillar will come out of its cocoon and then pop, pop.
It's funny because everybody loves to do his catchphrase for no reason. It has no explanation. Anyway, pop, pop. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Everybody have a good night. Thank you for them super chats. Be sure and subscribe, like, comment, do all of that. Did y'all enjoy the Roger Stone interview? Come on, that was fun. What makes me look bad for what? For doing an interview with somebody? Look, he's a political insider. I asked him a bunch of political insider information questions, and he was like, yeah, there's been conspiracies and military-industrial complex and JFK and RFK. So, yeah, it was a great conversation. Anyway, everybody have a good night. Pop, pop!